watching the panel, or in reality, you're probably watching the cricket where the score is England 4 for 191. Turn off, stay with us. It's going to be good. Joining us now, man, if I attempted to run through his biography, would be here all night. So let's just say writer, director, actor and comedy legend, Mr. Jerry Lewis. Jerry, thanks so much for joining us this evening. You've been in comedy longer than most of us have been.
You
alive.
mind moving your chair a little?
Closer or away?
Just that way.
Okay. I can just back out if you want.
No, it's okay.
But that means I'll come in this side.
We'll all hug in. Watch her, she's an editor. Where was it? Oh, yes,
Yes.
comedy. Long time. Yeah. Is it still fun at 73?
Looks like the Nuremberg trial. Look at that shot. Yeah, is it still fun at 73?
Yeah.
Come back, Tom. Yes, it is. It's the best time in my life to be able to go to a place like the Crown and work to all of that audience from 12 up to 90. It's incredible.
Have you noticed any sort of, I mean, you've worked through so many eras of comedy. Is it the same then as it is now?
Well, the fun now is that I'm playing to all of these elders that were kids when I began, and they're bringing their grandchildren and their children, and they're having this wonderful time watching the child do what they did 45 years ago. So I have the best of both worlds. They're all there every time I go out. And it's very humbling, while at the same time, I have to keep on my toes because I'm playing to a very, very broad spectrum of people there. 9, 10, 11, 12, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70. And when you start getting in the audience, you hear the little rumbles in the audience. Huh? That's the older group. And you have to stay on top of what's happening.
But you've got a daughter of how many years?
7. She'll be 7 in 42 days.
Oh, my goodness.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
So
Thank
you're in
you.
touch with that audience, the 7-year-old audience, anyway. Yeah.
Trust me, I'm in touch with her. Yeah. Well, she's kind of special. She's like the air in my lungs. I get up in the morning and I look at her and I find myself auditioning for this 7-year-old, right? Maybe this'll get the laugh, right? And she's looking at me. Can I have breakfast?
Tough crowd.
Tough crowd.
Tough room. Yeah.
It's
But
interesting.
it's wonderful.
Jerry, it's interesting growing up in this country is that people our age, we actually got you the reverse ways, that we saw all the movies you made by yourself first, and then we never realised that there was a partnership with Dean Martin, and then it's only like in the last 5 or 10 years we've seen all, some old footage of the live act you used to do.
Right.
But that's how it all started, wasn't it?
Well, it started, as you say, in reverse, but we were never aware of how strong we were in Australia because the commitment and the focus on U.S. distribution, particularly Paramount, was Europe. That was the focus. And we didn't know that on this side of the aisle was Australia, Japan, Asia. I mean, an incredible following. If I go to Tokyo today, I'll have a couple of thousand children following me in the street. And, you get that in a crowd, it's a son of a bitch. But it's so wonderful. The only way I can ever put it is this way. I hope all of you one day feel what you get after you've put in the time.
Right.
I hope you all feel when it's come from your bones and they know it and then they embrace you as you keep going and getting better and better. It's wonderful.
But that's interesting because you talk about how much, how important it is for people to like you and to communicate to an audience. But I saw a tape of you and Sammy Davis Jr. about 10 years ago doing a show together, and I'm just watching two people born to entertain. And all I kept on thinking is, what price does that come with? And is it a price worth paying? Because you must be obviously totally consumed with the idea of entertaining people.
Yes, you're consumed because what you're really doing and what looks like this wonderful selfless work is the most selfish thing you can do. That audience doesn't get half of what I get. I mean, I should be arrested for taking the money.
We have been.
But it's interesting because, let's say, I mean, I'll watch the stuff that you did with Dean Martin, and you know what? I don't know whether I love what you did with Dean Martin or I love the relationship you had with Dean Martin. You know what I mean? That's the love.
That was the key to what we had. And I told Bert this morning on the Today Show, and it's true. What Dean and I had was two men in a tux standing on a stage. One man says, "Did you take a bath this morning?" The other man says, "Why? Is there one missing?" And I say now to you, could they have earned $300 million? There had to be something. And that's what it was. It was the hero worship that I had for Dean, the brother feeling that he had for me, the care and protection of me, the regard we had for one another. And you go in front of an audience who's paid to be entertained, and they are being shown that there is importance in concern for your fellow man, and then there's silliness and fun with that too. It's substantial. In other words, what I tell a young performer today, don't go to the stage without passion, because you won't be around a long time.
Right.
Go with passion, go with your spirit, go with the energy of what you want to do for you, and they will take what they need from you, and it's a leveler. Now, it's not overly sentimental, and it's not overly, it's not sweet, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the truth of humor comes from the spirit and the soul of someone who wants to entertain and get the pleasure that that brings them. Yeah. Don't be afraid of that.
Jerry, your comedy was so physical in its time. A lot of what I know of your comedy was that real slapstick and your facial expressions. You don't see that in comedy much now, except the only person I can think of that comes in that realm would be Jim Carrey.
My road company, he's very good.
The open sphere.
Do you like Jim?
I love him. I think he's terrific. But Jim would have been better 20 years ago without morphing and computerized material. If I'd have written for Jim Carrey.
You think he would have been better, or you'd have been better now with the benefit of
No.
everything
No. He will never, ever hit his potential because of the computerizing. He's an innovator, a wonderful physical, visual nut that's now being hampered by the very nature of the technical dog catching its own tail.
Whereas in the early days of television, it was just something in its infancy. There were no rules, so therefore it was just open.
Well, you have to also understand, when we write our own material, and you guys know about this, I would sit for months getting the material on paper correctly. I couldn't write, as they do today. The Empire State Building sits next to him in the car.
Yeah, right.
Wait a minute.
Right.
How do I do that? Yeah, I could probably do special effects, traveling matte, inner negative, wait 9 months for that to possibly come up on a floating screen, and then it's wrong.
Yeah.
You sit down today, the Empire State Building is in his goddamn Volvo.
Can I just ask about innovation, though? Are we going to go to break now?
Get one question and we might go to quick
Well, I'll
break.
come back because we'll show that clip that I wanted to, that Santo showed me today.
Jerry, do you mind sticking around for another break? We're going to break all the rules tonight.
As long as they know I'm going to be at the Crown from the 12th to the 16th, and I only fly Air New Zealand.
You heard it. We'll be back with more Jerry right after this. Watching the panel, and we're talking to Jerry Lewis, who flies Air New Zealand and can be seen at the Crown Casino. Melbourne only, Jerry. You're not doing the Australia-wide tour. You're just doing...
Just Melbourne.
Just Melbourne. So you've got to come down to Melbourne to see Jerry at the Crown from the 12th to the 16th. Sensational shows.
It's Friday night is opening night.
Oh, is that right?
Then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Wow. And I get a fortune.
Well, actually, Santo, you saw the show last year, didn't you?
I saw the show last year and it was absolutely fantastic, and I couldn't believe you were coming back because I got some tickets for my parents-in-law, and they're gonna love it.
They don't speak English, but that'll be the crowd that's going, what?
I'll put in Malguania for you.
They thought it was Dean Martin coming, but anyway. No, that's a big show.
You got to pay a price.
Hey, that's one in a row.
Bing it a bang. Better be good to follow up, Santo.
I'm on a roll. Look, I'd love to show something. I showed this to Rob today. This is just to show how much fun I think Jerry would have had doing his stage show, doing his films. He did one of my favourite films called The Ladies' Man. It was sensational, and not only does it show how much fun he has, but it also shows the love that he had for his crew as well. So
These are the outtakes.
These are some outtakes from the film.
Where did you get those?
Cable.
The crewman walks on.
Now, in the next take, there's supposed to be a sexy girl lying on the bed when Jerry walks in.
Set things light for him.
It's just, I think it's just fantastic to see people actually. Isn't it great? Just. But before we get off that, look, I hate to be hogging this. This is terrible.
No,
but okay, there's heaps of fun. There was heaps of fun involved in that. But I don't think people realise how innovative Jerry was as an actual filmmaker. And in that film itself, you did a couple of, I think, pretty remarkable things. The first one was actually putting a video camera on the side of the 35mm camera. It's a video split.
You invented the video split.
I invented the video assist. That was the third year I had it in use. I built it in 1956.
It's amazing. I mean, there wouldn't be a film made in the world
In the world
today
without a video assist,
Yeah.
right?
And that was because you just wanted to see the take back.
Just I could direct myself that way.
Right.
There was not video at the time that I built it. I used it with just monitors spotted all over the set.
Right,
So
okay.
that if I did a scene with you, the monitor there would be telling me that my crew is doing the work I wanted.
Okay.
Then in 4 years hence, I was able to go to videotape.
Right.
And the wonderful thing is that Hollywood goes to the Academy Awards and makes a presentation to this Japanese scientist who has a new bulb in the men's room. See, I haven't heard a word from the technical arm of Hollywood yet about the video.
But if you get an Academy Award, you don't want it to be for one of those obscure technical areas. You want it for
They don't
best
even tell
actor.
us.
I want it for everything.
Jerry, you've been one of these. You've been able to actually do comedy and great drama over the years. King of Comedy was one of my favourite films. I thought it was a fantastic performance here. Do you think? I'm sure you agree with me. Comedians make good straight actors.
Well, they start as straight actors.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cannot. The expression that we hear all through our career is he acts like a jerk.
Mm-hmm.
He makes himself out to be silly. That's the process of moving from the most dramatic thing in the world, and that's a man's respect for himself, the man's esteem for himself, and for him to be the fool. He has to act to be that. So that if you become this wonderful clown, beneath that was Gleason. The magnificence of Gleason was that he was a great dramatic actor. Burl was a great dramatic actor. Sid Caesar was a wonderful dramatic actor. So when they say to a comic, did you ever think about doing drama? I just look at them and I giggle to myself. Do you know how dramatic it is to make a complete jerk out of yourself?
And also, you have to be meticulous because if you're a comic and you're not meticulous, nobody laughs, and that's devastating. So therefore,
I reckon there's an echo that we heard today is that in the Academy Award nominations, Roberto Benigni for a film. Is this right?
Life is Beautiful.
Life is Beautiful.
Yes.
30 years ago, you did a clown
In the concentration camp,
that
right.
never got released.
Never got released.
Why's that? Isn't that
Well,
incredible?
that's a whole political garbage that I can't take the time to get into. It's just unfortunate.
But when you saw Life is Beautiful come out, you must have gone, I know, I was right all along.
No, I only thought that thank God it was made. If it's as close to what I did, it'll be wonderful. Because what I did was telling the story of children at that time. But because of political problems between the Swiss government and the French government, who were partners in the making of the picture, they broke down their ties as collaborators. And Ingmar Bergman's film was being made at that time. And Louis Malle's film was being made. And the three of us were locked in the studio, not able to do anything with our films. Theirs went down in flames because they were making contemporary pictures. Mine is still alive. If I could ever get it out and finish it,
That's an incredible
Jerry,
episode
I've
of history.
heard that it has been shown. Have you? Is that a
No.
complete lie? There was
it's a
no way.
complete lie. I have the negative.
Jerry, I've got a bit of a surprise for you.
We snuck into your apartment overnight and stole the negative.
What's that?
What is that?
Oh, that's a pic. No, that's
Oh,
a
that's
picture
from
it.
the film.
That's in the concentration camp. I'm 78 years old there.
Isn't that an amazing photograph?
I don't know where you got that.
I just would like to read something that Benigni actually said. I don't know whether you've heard this, Jerry, but this is Roberto Benigni saying, I asked if it was possible to watch it, but they said it was not. Jerry Lewis is a wonderful clown, and I'm sure this is a wonderful movie. I would delight to watch it. There's something drama can't reach, but clowns like Jerry Lewis can reach it. Maybe it's ahead of its time.
For 30
I
I
years.
didn't hear that. I didn't hear that.
Jerry,
But I think he's got wonderful taste.
I wanted to ask a question about the perception of the sad clown. I mean, is it true that all comedians are manic depressants?
No, I don't think
Really?
that at all.
So what about the pressure to always be funny? Like people must go, "Hi, you're Jerry. Say something funny or
The
pull a
interesting
face."
thing is that does not prevail. That does not prevail. What they want from you is what gives you the very energy and the marrow in your bones, and what they want is a connection. They would like you to know they're there.
Right.
And once you acknowledge them and they know that's real, that's all they really want. They don't need, we've heard people say, hey, get funny. They don't do that to champions. They do that to lesser people. And lesser people in the audience, lesser people with less intelligence will say some things that we repeat, which we should not do that.
But what about when the audience goes home? What about when you are at home and it's just you? Do you have to perform
No,
to feel like you're being true to yourself? Or
no.
you can have downtime.
Oh, God, yes. And you need downtime. If you're going to innovate and create, the downtime is when that happens. That's the time when you take stock and you realize that there are no pressures and there is no time clock, and some of the most wonderful germs of an idea come at that time.
And just quickly, I just wanted to ask, tell us about your show. Is it like a retrospective or?
What's that?
At the
your,
Crown.
your stage show that you brought to
Well,
the country?
Santos was there.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's a
do
retro-
everything I know how to do theatrically within an hour and 45 minutes.
I got to tell you, I went and saw it last year. I thought it was fantastic, but I wanted to believe. I pretended I was in Vegas.
Yeah.
And don't take this the wrong way, but back in the that fantastic era when there were
Heyday.
dames and broads and schmucks and get out of here, you wise guy, and all that sort of stuff. And I was a wise guy, and you were doing it for me, Jerry, and Dino was over there, and I was getting into it. We were having a great time together. And then we went out gambling and saved me here. I don't know where I'm going.
Saved me.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I
It's got
know.
that real
Yes.
showbiz go about it.
Yeah.
I'll do that Friday. Meet me at 9.
Look, I just quickly wanted to ask, you spoke about your youngest daughter. How's your oldest son, Gary, going? Because
Great.
I don't know whether people know, but he had 7 top 10 hits in the 60s.
With
and
My
then he got-
Diamond Ring and
Yeah.
Everybody's a Clown. And he does about 300 nights a year with his
Does he
group.
really?
It's still Gary Lewis and the Playboys. He's making a fortune.
You've got 7 kids, haven't you?
I have 2 adopted sons. I have 8 sons and 1 daughter.
9 kids.
Yep.
And if I can get home early enough tonight,
There's one time.
Can I just say one more thing before we go? As a
one
tribute,
never knows.
I knew Jerry was coming, and Jerry, if you wouldn't mind standing up and just showing what you're wearing tonight.
Thank you. Yeah.
They're the best legs I've ever seen.
It's frightening, isn't it, Jerry? It has been a thrill to meet you. Thank you so much for dropping by tonight.
Thank you, Tom.
Good luck with the shows.
Thank you, Mia.
Crown. You know everyone's name. That's incredible.
oh yeah, you don't mind, don't you?
And you are? From the 12th?
Santos,
Yeah.
Glenn,
Jerry.
to the 16th, Rob.
Yeah. I'll be there Friday.
I don't even know these people's names.
Dulkin.
Yeah.
Dulkin.
12th to the 16th at the
Wise
Crown.
guy.
Are we going to go out
Yeah.
on...
Can we show a bit of Jerry and Dean? Maybe Jerry and Dean from some of the early
Yeah,
Let's
do that.
thank Mr. Jerry Lewis.